Jesus, our high priest. Now, last week, we observed one very comforting truth about Jesus, our high priest. And the fact is this, that he identifies with the feelings of our infirmities, or he identifies with our pain. We observe from Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Hebrews 4, verse 15. And the overarching truth from Hebrews 4, verse 15 is that Jesus, our high priest, identifies with your pain, with my pain as well. You see, Jesus ushered in a new priesthood altogether, different from the old Levitical priesthood. See, the old Levitical priesthood was a tribal affair. For you to serve as a priest or a high priest, you had to descend from the tribe of Levi. But Jesus Christ descends from the tribe of Judah, different from the tribe of Levi. And he ushers in a different priesthood altogether. The Old Testament priesthood was temporary in this sense. Death limited one's term of office. But in the new priesthood, which Christ is the chief priest, high priest, he is not limited because he conquered death and he ushered in a new priesthood altogether. We observed last week, that he identifies with our pain, with our infirmities. But secondly, this high priest invites us to approach God's presence directly. Hebrews 4 verse 16 tells us this. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. You see, in the Old Testament priesthood, not everybody could approach God's presence. It was a scary affair. As a matter of fact, it was only the high priest who could access the Holy of Holies, because the temple in Jerusalem was clearly demarcated between the Holy of Holies, which was the inner sanctum, then there was the holy area, and the outer area. The outer area is where the Gentiles and women sat. Then the other Jews sat in the holy area. But it was only the high priest who could approach the Holy of Holies that was separated by a thick curtain. And he only accessed that Holy of Holies once a year on the Day of Atonement. And he approached the presence, the Holy of Holies, with fear and trepidation, just in case there was a sin that God would hold him accountable to. There was a fear that God could strike him dead. So he went in, tied with ropes to his tassels and to his feet, just in case he collapsed in God's presence, he would be withdrawn. So approaching the Holy of Holies, approaching God's presence in the old Levitical order was a scary affair. But in the New Testament, it is not a scary affair. It's a pleasant affair, because Jesus, our high priest, invites us to the very presence of God. You know why this is possible? Because that curtain that separated you and I from the Holy of Holies was torn on the day he was crucified. You see, in Matthew 27, verse 51 to 53, we are told, from verse 51 it tells us, at that moment the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split, and tombs broke open. Bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. They came out of the tombs after Jesus' resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared to many people. It is exciting to know that Jesus, our high priest, not only identifies with our pain and our struggles, but he also invites us to the very presence of God. So you and I have direct access to God's presence 24/7. It doesn't have to be in the church. It can be online. It can be at the garage. It can be public transport. Wherever you are, you have a direct invitation to God's presence. On account of Christ's priesthood, you and I have direct access to the very throne of God. So whatever you may be going through as an individual, please be reminded, you have direct access. God is waiting for you. Let's take our concerns and our issues to him. The Lord bless you richly. Have a great week. If you haven't done so, please do so now. Subscribe to our social media channels and follow, like us. Let us know how you're engaging with this message. Jesus Christ, the high priest.